Hi, my name's Larissa Hjorth. I'm an artist, an ethnographer and a lecturer at RMIT University. I've been working in the region for about 10 years and my main area is Korea. As an artist, I've done various residencies there in Korea, Japan and China. As an ethnographer, I've also done residencies there, and I kind of combine being both an artist and ethnographer. My main area has been looking at mobile media, which of course the region is a very buoyant place for that. If you're going to generalise, Korea is just such a kind of friendly, generous country. The food is fantastic, the people are fantastic, the hospitality is fantastic. And also in terms of my area of mobile media, they are one of the kind of leaders in the world, so it kind of makes sense to go to the kind of nerve centre of where it's happening. One project that I did around mobile phone usage was called CU, and what I did was I called for text message from all across the world, and these were text messages that weren't necessarily translated. So if they were Korean, they were in Korean; if they were Japanese, they were in Japanese. And I asked people to send the message along with how they felt when they received it. So these were saved messages, so they obviously had some importance for whatever reason. It's amazing how, you know, when you look at a text message, there's so much that it needs to be filled in by the user, you know, like to explain the context. And so what I ended up doing was putting images with text. So I made images in response to the way that they talked about that text message. And these messages were flashed up on a public screen. So it was this whole idea of taking something very intimate like text messages and kind of inverting them in a public realm. I did cultural studies, and my interest there was critiquing Anglo models for technology, because I suppose being in Australia, a lot of the models that we get for thinking about cultural practice or media practice tends to be either very US based or very European based, and for me that didn't make sense. Neither of those models made sense, so I was kind of trying to find my own model, and in a sense Asia Pacific was the place for that. Learning something like French as an Australian, I don't know how much sense that makes in this day and age, whereas learning something like Chinese, it makes a lot of sense. So I think the languages we need to learn are changing in order to kind of speak to the shifts in a kind of global currency. I think it's quintessential for students to have Asian literacy, whether it be through actual languages like Japanese or Chinese, or whether it's actually more about the kind of socio-cultural context. I think as an Australian, you can't afford to not think about Australia in the context of the region.